Call to order.
President Lestracco.
Here.
Vice President Partha.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner DeLessio.
Here.
Commissioner Zipfel.
Here.
I would like to ask Commissioner Andrus if you would do the Pledge of Allegiance for us.
Not a solo gig either. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next on the agenda, approval. Do I have a motion for the approval of our agenda?
So moved.
Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Citizens' comments for agenda items only. If you would like to come to the microphone, this is not for the Pulte hearing, by the way. This is just for this agenda. Citizens' comments, you can come to the podium and speak. Tell us your name and your address. No? Okay. I'm going to go into consent items for the Board of Commissioners meeting minutes, March 11th and March 25th, for the Treasurer's report from March, and the bills payable. Paid bills were $53,574.31, and for unpaid bills, $647,365.62. I'm going to say that again, $647,365.62. Do I have a motion for these consent items to be entered into the record?
So moved.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Zipfel and second by Vice President Partha. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it is passed. For action items next, we're going to go, before I go into action items, I wanted to say that we did go into executive session to talk about, I guess, what would we call that? Executive session?
Real estate.
Real estate. So we had an executive session before this meeting to discuss real estate. For our action item, we're going to go to 2748 Cowpath Road, land development discussion. Can I send that over to you?
Sure, I'd be happy, Miss President, sorry, to take that on. I think we do have the applicant here for this project? This was a project that has been discussed several times, presented in January, and then discussed again at the last meeting. And our solicitor put together a resolution that is in final form and available for the board to give its final consideration this evening.
The applicant has accepted all the terms of the resolution, has signed it, and presented it to you for your consideration.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No?
Okay. Do I have a motion of approval for 2748 Cowpath Road land development?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner DeLessio, second by Vice President Partha. Is that right? Okay, I wasn't sure if I heard your name. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah, all right.
Okay, it has passed. And for the next land development discussion, this is for St. Maria Goretti, Resolution 2609.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Zipfel, second by Vice President Partha. All in favor?
Well, before we do that,
Oh, okay, go
where
ahead.
did we land on the conclusion of the resolution as it relates to either waiver, deferral, and length of time?
So what staff has recommended and what the applicant has agreed to is a 5-year deferral measured from the recording of the plans. We've also recommend that they install a macadam path as opposed to sidewalk. Gives them more flexibility to meander, and all of that is spelled out in the resolution. They are agreeable to that timeline, and the other waivers that are laid out in the resolution have been accepted by them, and the resolution is signed and in front of you, ready for your consideration.
So the reason I raise that is because I can see a number of Goretti folks here so that you have an understanding of what's happening. There was discussion the last time we were here about certain waivers. It's not uncommon for us to have those discussions. But as it relates to sidewalks, there was a request for a deferral, and then there was some discussion as it relates to the length of time for that. Deferral essentially means they have the right to defer until the construction is done, and then there's a period of time thereafter that the sidewalks need to be done. And then, like I said, there was discussion as to the length of that, and what you just heard is that the resolution that's before us to vote on today allows a 5-year deferral. Okay, so that's why what we're kind of generally talking about, and that was kind of the major discussion the last time we got together. So, just before we vote on it, I see a lot of Go Ready folks with their heads nodding. If anyone has any questions on that, now is the time to ask. Yes.
Can you
Need to
come up to the
you
mic
need
and
to come
say
to
your
the
name
podium.
and address, please? Thank you.
I'm Megan Kokersberger. I'm the plant manager for a facility in Hatfield Township at 3050 Campus Drive. I was just curious what mechanism was going to be put in place to ensure that the sidewalks were completed within that 5-year time frame. Was there any agreement upon like an escrow situation or anything like that?
The resolution calls for the escrow to be posted at the time when the path would be installed. So there will be an escrow posted, just like we require for all public improvements.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions about St. Maria Goretti land development? Okay, seeing none, I'll call to question. I think you had.
I made the motion.
Yep, we have a motion on the floor from Commissioner Zipfel and second from Vice President Partha. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it is passed. Thank you, everybody. Okay.
If I can.
Yep, go ahead.
I want to thank all the
Stay.
Goretti folks for coming out. I know that you've reached out to various commissioners and to staff throughout this entire process. We're particularly pleased that you showed up tonight. It means a lot when the community comes together, especially when we vote on something like this. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, before I go to citizens' comments, I just wanted to remind everybody that after citizens' comments and that we then go into adjournment, 7 p.m. will be the public hearing for Pulte Homes. So you're welcome to stay for that. If you want, you can go, and we'll have maybe like we'll have a few minutes break, so that'll be good. So we will go into citizens' comments. And if you would like to make a citizen's comment, you may come to the podium here, speak into the microphone with your name and your address.
Hi, my name is Becky McHenry. I am 442 Knightsbridge Lane, Hatfield, PA. My name is Becky McHenry, and I've been a resident of Hatfield Township since 1997. First, I would like to thank all the commissioners and the township employees here tonight for all your hard work and dedication. This township would not be as successful without all of you. My husband and I moved here in 1997. We had our first child in 1999 and our second in 2003. As our children grew up and became involved in lots of activities, swimming was one that started early. When the new pool opened in 2008, we dove right in, both as a family and through the swim team. My husband and I became very active on the swim team board for many years. When our kids turned 14, they began working at the pool, and it became something very near and dear to our entire family. It helped instill values like giving back to the community and learning responsibilities through work. I've never stopped volunteering. I spent over 10 years volunteering extensively for the Iron Knights Triathlon. I served on the board and worked tirelessly to make this very successful event for the kids. Those were some very long, tiresome days. This is the first year I've stepped back to let the next generation take over. I've also volunteered for the local Scouts, elementary schools, 5K races, and much more. Hatfield Township was even the site of my son's Eagle Scout project, which was a bike stand on Frick's Trail. With leftover materials, he returned the following year and installed another one near the pickleball courts. I share all this to make a point. I and many others do not volunteer to be recognized or get a pat on my back. We do it because we believe in our community, we love our community, and especially in today's world, giving back matters. Now, I would like to address last week's pool advisory meeting. It started business as usual, but at the end, one of the commissioners new to our group as the lead commissioner since March announced that the committee would be paused. I'm not really quite sure what pause means, but in this context, but at the end of the day, dissolved feels more accurate, and the commissioner stated it is a non-essential committee. This committee is made up of volunteers with the exception of Scott and John. We were told our meetings affected the budget. The lead commissioner said we could continue meeting as friends, but without any township employees present. She also mentioned several times that we would not be receiving free pool passes. She spoke about the past distribution of passes and the need to save money. Specifically instructed us not to approach Aaron, John, Scott for passes. I want to be very clear. None of us would do that, and none of us volunteer on this committee expecting pool passes. While it may be a nice gesture, it is absolutely not why we give to this community. I left that meeting feeling deeply unappreciated. It made me question why anyone would continue to volunteer under these circumstances. I hope no one else who gives their time away from their family, friends, work ever feels that way. The tone and the delivery of that message was disappointing. We were spoken to in a way that felt very dismissive. It could have been handled much better. In the 15-minute conversation, it felt like 12 years of my dedication to this pool advisory committee was dismissed in a blink. Thank you very much for your time. Becky McHenry, Pool Advisory President.
Thank you, Becky.
Good evening to everybody. My name is Jennifer Ahern. I live at 2407 School Road. I have been a member of the Hatfield community for over 20 years and have served on the Pool Advisory Board for more than a decade. 2 of my sons work as lifeguards at the HAC, and my parents, who live with me, visit the facility almost daily. They have built friendships there and take great pride in what the HAC represents for our community. At our last meeting, we were informed that the role of the Pool Advisory Board was unclear and that our meetings would be paused. I feel it's important to clarify what this board has stood for and contributed over the years. The Pool Advisory Board is made up of community members who volunteer their time with no expectation of personal gain. We are residents of both the borough and the township who come together to serve as a bridge between the community, the commissioners, and the Hatfield Aquatic Center staff. Over the years, we have worked collaboratively to improve the Aquatic Center in meaningful ways, addressing safety concerns, enhancing signage, shaping policies and requirements, contributing to budget discussions, and supporting maintenance, registration, staffing, and daily operations. We have also served as additional eyes and ears of the Hatfield Aquatic Center, offering feedback grounded in firsthand experience. We volunteer at events, support the staff, and remain engaged through both the highs and the lows, including management changes and even a global pandemic. Throughout it all, our commitment has never wavered. I can confidently say that every member of the Pool Advisory Board shares a deep love for this community and for the Hatfield Aquatic Center. Our goal has always been to help ensure that the Aquatic Center remains a safe, affordable, and enjoyable place for all of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Owen Wilcox, 32 East School Street. It was unfortunate to learn, as I was not able to be at the Pool Advisory Board meeting, but as a borough member of that board, to learn secondhand that the Pool Advisory Board was essentially being dissolved. I think many in this room can agree that civic engagement from residents and non-elected officials is at an all-time low, which is why that was even more a slap in the face, as was mentioned, to the dedicated volunteers that come out from both the borough and the township to to partake in the pool advisory board. I have heard some people refer to the pool as a crown jewel of the township. I think every single person on that pool advisory board agrees, and that's why we are all here and so passionate about that board and about the value that I think we all give to the administration and the township staff in the efforts to run the pool. I've always admired, as a distant observer of local politics, following Hatfield Township, because again, I am a borough resident, follow Towamencin Township, that the tide of any national or even larger regional politics has never affected how this township has seemed to run, and I'm certainly hoping that can continue. The pool advisory board, as we all serve, is great for the community. The pool is great for the community. That community, obviously it is run by the township, but that includes Hatfield Borough. And as a borough resident, I hope that the staff will continue to value the input of all the residents and that pool advisory board will continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sandy Masaleno, 1664 Forest Hills Drive. I am also a volunteer serving on the Pool Advisory Board. I have served on the Pool Advisory Board for 19 years, and before that, I served on the Pool Board. I was also Hatfield Swim Team President, volunteered for North Penn Aquatic Club, volunteered for the high school swimming and water polo team, and finally volunteered for Penn State swimming and Penn State water polo. My children grew up at the pool from the age of 9 months on. They were volunteers at the pool, and they worked at the pool. The volunteers of the Pool Advisory Board serve as a vital link between the community, pool management, the commissioners, promoting transparency, community input, safety oversight. While the board does not make decisions, it reviews data and provides insight with differing perspectives, helping to ensure public accountability. Historically, the board fostered a strong, supportive community among Hatfield commissioners, though that sense of support changed after our most recent meeting. In Hatfield Township, we're fortunate to be guided by 5 commissioners, each contributing a vital piece of our shared conversation. At this moment, we've had the chance to hear from 2 of those voices, and we encourage all commissioners to come forward. Join a Pool Advisory Board meeting and engage in these important conversations with your neighbors. Be optimistic as you make decisions about the Aquatic Center and Pool Advisory Board. After all, each of you was chosen to be an independent voice, a collaborative voice, serving the township, not through politics, but through community spirit. And with that in mind, let's remember, our residents' voices are at the center of those decisions about the pool and the Pool Advisory Board. We also need to remember the very valuable voices of our borough. And I'd like to thank Scott and Aaron for your never-ending support. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Good evening, commissioners and neighbors. My name is Jay Lee. I'm a community organizer of Woody Center and a standing resident, 84 Duristeen Road, Hatfield. As a Korean migrant, I stand before you today and with our partners of immigrant communities. Before you today as someone whose heart is heavy with the quiet, suffocating fear I see in my community every single day. 65% of Asian Americans in this country are foreign-born. When many of our community members first came to this country, they dreamed of a life where hard work would build a future for their children. But today, the dream is clouded by the shadow when ICE is spotted near our grocery stores, our schools. The lifeblood of our neighborhood stops. Our local businesses go quiet because people are too afraid to step outside. Parents, hardworking people who are the backbone of our township, stop attending school meetings, they withdraw, they hide. It breaks my heart to see our youth, our students, looking over their shoulders. No children should have to wonder if their parents will be there when they get home from school. No worker should have to choose between feeding their family and risking their freedom. This fear silences us, but it also isolates us from the very community we love and contribute to. Hatfield should be a sanctuary of hope, not a place where we feel watched or targeted. When local authorities cooperate with ICE in any way, it breaks the trust we have worked so hard to build. We are told we are welcome here, but without a formal policy, those could be just words. We need more than good intentions. We need the security of a lasting, enforceable resolution that turns the promises into real protection. This isn't just about abstract politics. This is about the humanity of your neighbors. I urge the commissioners to pass a formal resolution to train our township staff and the Hatfield Police Department to be the true protectors of all residents. We ask that this resolution explicitly bans leasing of any township facilities to ICE, prohibit entering into 287G agreement that turns local police into immigration agents, and prevent the collection or storage of citizenship status unless strictly required by the law, in which case the ICE carries the judicial warrant or any other circumstances. So please stand with us. Help us replace this fear with the dignity and safety every human being deserves. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate all of your participation today. Chief Tierney, do you have anything you can add to that for the last speaker?
Yes.
That'd be great.
Everybody knows this issue has pretty much torn everything apart. One thing I can assure you in Hatfield, we're not working for ICE. If ICE comes into town and asks us to come out to a scene, we're there to protect all these folks, all you folks. We're not agents of ICE. You see, this is personal because I'm an officer, but I'm a human being. I hear you. And we are not here to punish anybody. We're not here to have anybody be pushed backwards. We are here to help everyone, everybody in our community, those that live here, those that visit, those that work here. That's our job, protect everyone. You have my word on that.
I think I want to add one thing. I think, Chief, at the beginning of when ICE activities is happening, I think like our Hatfield Police Department is stated resolution, right? So there when we are not working on it. So our Hatfield Police Department state that we are not working with the ICE resolution in our police department Facebook page, I think.
If ICE calls us to help them with a particular issue, if there's no standing warrant, we have no part in it.
Right.
If we do go out on a warrant, we're there to protect everyone, the ICE officials and every citizen. Nobody's going to be kicked in the head, ICE officer or any citizen. We will not allow that to happen. We're the police for this township, and we will stand behind this township.
Okay, and we will talk about an actual resolution, which I don't believe we have, but you did hear from Chief Tierney, so thank you very much, Chief Tierney. So because of time, we have to start our public hearing. If there is any more citizens' comments.
There are.
Okay, I was going to add public comment after the Pulte hearing.
Nope, I'm going to do the public comment now before the meeting's
Okay,
over.
yeah, you may speak first.
Do you guys have something to say?
My name's Caroline Carrillo. This is my husband, Anthony, and we're the owners of Blue Tide Express Car Wash on Broad Street. and we're a locally owned and operated family business in Hatfield. Sorry, can you hear me okay now?
Yep,
My
thank
name's
you.
Caroline Perillo, and I'm here with my husband Anthony, and we're the owners of Blue Tide Express Car Wash. And we are locally owned and operated and a family business. And we have several amazing employees, and they all live in the community. We believe we have a thriving business. We host fundraisers and donate to many organizations throughout the community. And we recently learned that a private equity-backed car wash flagship is in the approval process, and it will be located in the shopping center next to the giant gas station. That's about 2 miles from Blue Tide. So if that's approved, there will be 7 car washes within a 2 to 3 mile radius in the area. We're just here to express that we strongly oppose another car wash in the community, especially a private equity-backed car wash, which has absentee owners that don't care much about the town. We believe they potentially, if it gets approved, the car wash potentially could have in excess of 1,000 cars a day on site. We know that for a fact. Depending on how fast they turn up their conveyor, it can be in excess of 1,000 a day, which could cause extreme traffic issues in the, I'm sorry, I'm nervous, in the shopping center. Their plan apparently allows for 33 cars to be stacked at one time without causing overflow into the shopping center. And if they have 18 cars at their vacuum sites in addition to that 33, there will be 50 cars at one time on site. We believe that's a potential for traffic and safety issues in the shopping center and the surrounding roads. There's high-pressure blowers and industrial vacuums that may disturb the neighboring residents in the proposed area. I don't even know if you guys know this is happening. All while absentee owners reap the benefits. Private equity will use low introductory rates to kill local competitors, locally owned and operated businesses like Blue Tide. Private equity owners do not live or care about this town. This particular private equity company is in Houston. We've refused to engage with private equity. They've reached out to us numerous occasions because we value our business and we value this community. And we love this community. We love giving back to the community. We donate to the fire departments, police departments. We have a lot of customers and a lot of relationships that my husband's built with a lot of customers. So I'm just here to say we oppose that car wash being approved. And we just wanted to voice our opinion, or any car wash being approved that's up for approval in the township, because I understand there's another one too. But I don't have the specifics about that because I just became aware of this one recently. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
I've got a citizen's comment as well.
Yes,
At
thank
the
you.
conclusion of the most recent PAC meeting, Ms. DeLesio stated the Hatfield Board Majority, Commissioners Lestraco, Parth, and herself, are disbanding the PAC. Carla suggested the current PAC members could get together as a friend group to provide input. To whom? I'm not sure. This is not how volunteer boards are, who have committed over 20 years plus of service, should be treated. And I guess my expectation moving forward is any involvement with the pool, there should be a Board of Commissioners meeting to discuss it. Carla declared the Hatfield Pool as a non-essential service. I certainly disagree with Carla. The Hatfield Pool is an essential service to our community. In Hatfield Connection, Carla stated the Hatfield Aquatic Center is one of the township's true gems and was proud to support its construction. She stated she's going to partner with the Pool Advisory Board to ensure HAC remains a wonderful place for Hatfield residents of all ages to enjoy. Carla's most recent actions and statements say otherwise. I'm not sure where Carla was during the pool construction. However, I was a Hatfield Township Commissioner in 2006 and voted in favor of the initiative to demolish the old and bring in the new pool for the entire community. Resident surveys seeking input, advisory boards with diverse backgrounds collaborated and provided valuable input. The effort and collaboration of our community is why the Hatfield Pool is the top 10 pool in Pennsylvania. At Carla's first pool advisory board meeting in February, she stated her Lazy River Friend Group and 60-plus age residents could not afford the financial impact of paying for a pool membership. She also stated that families should bear the burden and the expense of closing the annual operating deficit. In an email, Carla stated she would recommend to my fellow board members, and I'm not sure whether she means the PAC or this board here, that a new PAC chair be appointed given the existing chair's term expired in 2025. Carla stated she would reach out to the existing PAC member to determine their interest in taking the chair position as a successor from within the existing ranks. If not, Carla knew of someone experienced and would be interested in being appointed. From my perspective, that PAC is an independent board with the members electing their own chair. I've attended PAC meetings as a resident who happens to be a commissioner with a vested interest in ensuring the continued success of the Hatfield Pool. I serve as a conduit for information flow between the PAC and the township staff so the financial information and ideas can be shared efficiently and effectively. Carl also stated the Hatfield board majority decided pool passes would not be issued to any Hatfield volunteers as a cost-cutting measure. This will be the first time pool passes will not be provided to our volunteers at a time when volunteers are few and far between. On the side note, Parks and Recreation Services operates as a much higher deficit from the percentage perspective. Is this also a non-essential service, subject to the board majority intense scrutiny for how it operates? Nearly 80% of the pool operating budget consists of labor, chemicals, electricity, and Social Security tax. To save just 1/3 of the 2025 operating deficit, we would have had to have shut down the pool heating system, decommission all the slides, diving boards, shut the snack bar down, stop providing lifeguard uniforms, and discontinue Red Cross certification for our lifeguards. Most of all, pray for Mother Nature so that every day is a good pool day. This would not have been a good idea in 25, and it certainly is a terrible idea for 2026. Our Hatfield staff is outstanding. John Taylor is an excellent leader. Our approach to member safety is second to none. The PAC has provided invaluable input to ensure the pool is a destination for families seeking a fun day on a hot day. Young members of our community working at the Hatfield Pool have gained confidence, work experience, and learned how to work as a team, day in and day out, to ensure an outstanding pool experience for our community. It is not my intention to bring unwanted press coverage to Hatfield Township. However, because of the disdain for the existing PAC and its members by the Commissioner's majority, it's my responsibility to advocate for what I believe is best for all of Hatfield Township. In summary, I've never been interested in whether a resident is a Republican, Democrat, Independent, non-declared. Didn't matter to me. I will point to the board or help someone in our community. We come together with collective objective of making Hatfield an outstanding place to live. And we all win when we do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Andrus. Any other citizens' comments?
Real quick, I want to say
Okay.
thank you to everybody, all the volunteers. I think you've attended many of our meetings over the years. I think many of you have. We don't want any of you to ever leave this room and not realize that you're fully appreciated. We always joke around that volunteers are, we say, a little crazy and a little committed, right? And it's a good combination. It's a great combination. And our township is made up of so many volunteers. And I'm not sure where we're at with this, but we will have our continued conversations, and we're going to take under, certainly under advisement your comments tonight. But for those of you who are volunteers, I want to say thank you, especially those who have been doing it for so long. It's a real commitment to the township, and we want to say thanks.
Thank you, and I echo Commissioner Zipfel's thoughts. We do appreciate everybody. We haven't made any changes besides a pause on the pool advisory board, and that's just a pause. And we will, and I did take notes on all of everybody's thoughts, and I appreciate everybody's participation tonight, really do.
As a matter of that pause, any conversations or direction given to the...
Oh, wait,
I'm sorry.
you're not on.
In a pause moment, I want to know how it is we're going to govern or manage the pool. At this point, it's been monthly meetings. I've attended and Carla's recently been attending. If we're pausing, what is the conduit for information to be disseminated and to be fed back to our township?
We are going
who is that?
to reorganize, and we'll talk about that at
What
a
what
later
does
date.
reorganization mean?
Might change the structure after we look at all of our contracts, and we'll go from there in May.
Okay, so from now till May, June, July, when will that be done? So we know how the pool
It will
advisory
be,
board's going to function.
we will have more information in May, at the next meeting or the second meeting in May.
Again, my expectation is any meetings with John Taylor or otherwise are done in unison with the entire board so that the opinions can be heard.
Yep, then there might be a meeting before the end of that contract ends. And we will be in touch.
Contract for the pool? Contract ended last year in September. So they're not operating with a contract since then. I'm not sure what's changed from then till now to say we're
Okay.
pausing.
Well, we are going to have a pause right now for the Pool Advisory Board. Any other citizens' comments? Okay. With that, I will take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner DeLassio,
Second.
second by Commissioner Zipfel. We are adjourned. So we're going to take, we're going to take a pause right now so that we can switch to our Pulte hearing, and you're all welcome to attend the Pulte hearing. And so we can switch gears. You're welcome to take a quick break. What do you think, a 5-minute break? Okay, 5-minute break before the Pulte hearing. Thank you. I'd like to announce our public hearing. It is 7:16, and we're sorry we ran a little bit late. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I'm going to turn the meeting over to our solicitor, Kristen Pianzio.
Thank you. This is the continued hearing for the Pulte application. We were last here on January 28th, 2026. The applicant continued the hearing at that time until February 25th. We had 2 more continuances from then, and requests for waivers from the time constraints were granted to the township until this evening. So in the meantime, the applicant has submitted 69 deeds for property owned by North Penn School District, and while looking for 1 additional deed, they advised that they entered into an agreement of sale for 3 additional parcels. Those have been added to the plan. The conditional use plans have been amended to add those parcels above Lot 120. All in all, it adds 1 additional lot to the plan, and I'm sure that will be explained to you in just a few minutes. So 3 more deeds were submitted with that amendment, and then 3 more deeds were submitted yesterday. So the amended conditional use plan is before the board. The applicant will proceed tonight with testimony with their first witness. I'm going to mark a whole bunch of exhibits, so bear with me, and then we'll deal with anybody who would like to request party status, and then we'll turn it over to Julie for her to present her case. So I'm going to pick up with B22, which is February 19, 2026, correspondence from Julie Von Spreckelsen requesting a continuance to March 25, 2026. B23, March 2nd, 2026, correspondence from Julie requesting a continuance to April 22, 2026. B4 is March 4, 2026, correspondence from Julie attaching the 69 deeds. B26 is collectively the 69 deeds. I'm sorry, that was B25, if I misspoke. B26 is March 4, 2026, email regarding procedure. B27 is March 31, 2026, correspondence from Julie, which was the letter amendment. B28 is collectively 3 deeds, which were enclosed with the amendment. B29 is redacted excerpts of the agreement of sale between Pulte and the estate of Arthur A. Baum. B30 is the amended conditional use common open space exhibit prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B31, overall site aerial plan prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B32, the amended overall conditional use plan prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30, 2026. B33, the amended overall conditional use plan prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B34, amended conditional use plan for Palo and Beach parcel by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B35, amended conditional use plan for Palo and Beach parcel by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B36, the amended conditional use plan for the North Penn School District parcels prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B37, the amended conditional use plan for North Penn School District, D. Sedario and Baum parcels prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B38, fire truck exhibit prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. B39, amended application for conditional use approval with accompanying documents. B40, April 21, 2026, correspondence from Julie, attached to which were 3 deeds. B41, collectively, those 3 deeds sent with the April 21 correspondence. B42, proof of publication of this hearing. B43, certificate of posting. B44, certificate of mailing to the parties. They are all the exhibits that I have. And now, is there anyone in the audience that would like to request party status? Remember, anyone who wants to talk, you have to go to the microphone. You have to state your name and your address. I'll ask you some questions. I'm sure Julie will have questions for you. Remember, we have a court stenographer here, so no one can talk over each other. If anyone else would like, you can just go head up and get in line if anyone else wants to request party status. Yeah.
And
Yes. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Deborah Kimball.
I'm sorry, Deborah?
Deborah Kimball.
Could you spell it, please?
DeborahKimball.
What's your address, Deborah?
1551 Leon Drive, Hatfield.
Did you get a notice of the hearing that was held in
No.
January?
No.
Okay. Do you know the approximate distance of your property to the subject
Right across the
property?
street from where they're building.
Okay. Julie?
I did not get any notification this time either.
Well, only parties got notification this time, but everyone within 500 feet got notification of the January hearing.
I was a party to the last fiasco.
Oh, I'm sorry, the last application?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you say you're right across the street, can you provide a little bit better direction? As
Well,
to
you know where
you
you were going to dump the 800 cars on 3 houses down across the street, where you were going to dump all the traffic out last time.
Deborah, if you could just state your answer without the color, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, so, you know, you're building here, there's a house, and I'm right across the street.
She was granted party status at the first application when
the
you
beach?
just did the Palo Beach
Okay.
property.
Okay.
And I think you have objected to everyone, so I'm assuming you're
Just
going to
no, my
remain.
objection.
Okay. So she's going to object to your party status, but I'm going to grant you party status, okay? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Victoria Camuso,
Victoria, can you spell your last name?
Camuso,
Your address.
1619 Leon Drive, Hatfield.
Did you get party status for the application that was just the Palo Beach property?
I did.
Hang on one second. Did you get notice of this hearing that happened in January?
I did through my husband.
Does he live at the same property?
Mhm.
Okay. Julie, any objection?
Yes.
Oh.
Can I just ask a question? So did you receive written notice in the mail from the township of this hearing?
My husband did, I did not.
Okay, but he received it at the house, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, and what is the distance from your property to the subject property?
500 feet or less.
Okay. And how are you affected by this application differently than any other township resident?
Because the previous plan was trying to dump those cars from the development directly impacting headlights into my home.
And that was the previous plan, correct? Not the plan that's before the board tonight?
I still want to be able to speak, though, so.
Understood, understood. I would object to party status.
Okay, Victoria, we'll grant you party status over that objection.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next up.
Hi there. My name's Richard Vasso. V as in Victory, ASSO.
What's your address, Richard?
1559 Leon Drive.
Did you get notice of the hearing that was held in January?
No, I did not. But I had party status.
You did have party status in the Palo Beach application. Okay,
Correct.
Julie?
And where is your property in relation to the subject property?
I'm one house in from the Grapevine Drive, Stubb Street, that intersection of Leon and Grapevine Drive.
Okay. And how are you affected differently by this application from any other township resident?
I'm concerned about the overall impact to the infrastructure and to the safety of the residents in our community.
Note my objection, please.
Okay, your objection's noted. You have party status, Richard. Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Donna Bushman, Buschmann.
Your address, Donna.
1648 Leon Drive.
Your name sounds familiar. Did you have party status at the for the Palo Beach
Yes, ma'am. Many
application?
times.
1648. Okay, she did. Julie, any questions?
Did you receive written notice of the hearing tonight?
Yes.
And where are you in relation to your property in relation to this property?
Those properties will be in my backyard.
So your backyard abuts
Yes, that's correct.
the proposed development? Okay. Just note my objection for the record.
Your objection is noted, and you have party status, Donna.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, let the record reflect I see no hands. Julie, you're up.
Great, thank you very much. Good evening, Julie Von Sprekelson from the law firm of Eastburn and Gray here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Pulte Homes of PA Limited Partnership. Your township solicitor summarized accurately what has occurred since the last hearing, which was January 28th of this year. Since that time, we were able to locate the 69 deeds for the North Penn School District property so that all deeds have now been provided to the township for that, what we're referring to collectively as the North Penn School District property. And so that comprises 173 tax parcels. In addition, while we were searching for those deeds, as your solicitor mentioned, Mr. Arthur Baum approached Pulte and had suggested that he was interested in selling his lots. He owns a number of movie lots that are in close proximity to the property, but only 3 of those properties abut the North Penn School District property that's already subject to this application. So we amended our application. We submitted a full amendment to the application, the conditional use application to the township on March 31st, and we include the agreement of sale for the Baum properties along with the deeds. And then on April 21st, we supplemented that with a couple of additional deeds, but it's only 3 tax parcels that are now included with this development. And we'll go through it in more detail as we get to the testimony of Chris Pazzinas. But I wanted to go ahead and put that on the record to explain why it's changed. And really, the 3 additional parcels, they're approximately 0.38 acres total. So it's a small area that was added to this conditional use application. And as your solicitor mentioned, 1 additional lot. So 161 lots were previously proposed. Now 162 lots are proposed. So given that, I had gone through the entire background in conditional use law, and I'm not going to go through that again. It's all in the record. I did distribute at the last hearing the first exhibit booklet, but I did not have the opportunity to run through all the exhibits in the first booklet. So I want to go ahead and run through those quickly, and then I'll be distributing a second booklet with all the amended conditional use plans in it as well. And large-size copies of all these plans were hand-delivered to the township, and then they were also sent electronically. So they should all be part of the record already, and your solicitor read in all those exhibits previously. So with that, the first exhibit booklet, A1 is the CV of Chris Pazzinis. He's a professional engineer with Bowler Engineering. A2 is the overall site aerial plan conditions prepared by Bowler Engineering dated October 29th, 2025. A3 is a rendered overall conditional use plan and overall conditional use plan prepared by Bowler Engineering dated October 29th, 2025. A4 is a rendered conditional use plan for the Palo Beach and conditional use plan for the Palo Beach property prepared by Bowler Engineering dated October 29th, 2025. And those plans are, one's rendered and one's black and white. Otherwise, they're the same plan. A5, same thing. It's the rendered conditional use plan for the North Penn School District and Desidero properties, and the conditional use plan for the North Penn School District and Desidero properties prepared by Bowler Engineering dated October 29, 2025. A6, fire truck circulation plan prepared by Bowler Engineering dated December 22, 2025. A7 is the North Penn Water Authority will serve letter dated January 14, 2026. A8 is the Hatfield Township Municipal Authority letter dated August 15, 2025. A9 is the Chapter 94 Hatfield Township Municipal Authority Municipal Waste Load Management Report dated March 19, 2025. A10 is the Common Open Space Exhibit prepared by Bowler Engineering dated October 29, 2025. And A11, color rendering concepts of the proposed single-family detached dwelling. Again, that booklet was already handed out. With regard to the amended application and the amended plans that are submitted, I'm going to hand out the next booklet, which will be Exhibit Booklet Part 1A.
Thank you.
So Exhibit Booklet Part 1A includes A2A, and what I did was I tried to match them up. So A2 from the first booklet is the overall site aerial plan. A2A is the amended overall site aerial plan. And that's dated March 30th, 2026, prepared by Bowler Engineering. A3A is an amended rendered overall conditional use plan and amended overall conditional use plan prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. A4A is the amended rendered conditional use plan for the Palo Beach property and amended conditional use plan for the Palo Beach property prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. A5A is an amended rendered conditional use plan for the North Penn School District, Desidero, and Baum properties, and the amended conditional use plan for the North Penn School District, Desidero, and Baum properties prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. A6A is the amended fire truck circulation plan prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. And A10A is an amended common open space exhibit prepared by Bowler Engineering dated March 30th, 2026. And with that, if there's no other additional issues or questions withstanding, I'd like to turn to the testimony, and Chris Pazzinis is first up.
Julie, just to be clear, the exhibits in this book are the same exhibits that were submitted with your amended application?
Correct.
Thank you.
State spell your full name, please.
Chris Pazzinis, Chris Puzzinas.
Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to have to kind of share this. I hope you can hear us.
Is there another mic down there? All right.
I'll speak loudly and I'll try to.
I can hear you
lean
good.
in.
Okay.
Good. Chris, what is your profession?
I'm a civil engineer.
And are you licensed?
Yes, in Pennsylvania.
And how long have you been licensed in Pennsylvania?
11 years.
And what is your educational background?
I have a bachelor's degree from Drexel University.
And by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
Bowler Engineering as a senior project manager for land development.
And how many years have you been so employed?
13.
And what are your professional duties with Bowler?
Overseeing land development plans and stormwater management design, zoning code review, concept plans, layouts. Reviewing code, concept plans, land development applications, stormwater design, anything for land development approvals.
And have you testified before municipal bodies?
Yes.
And which bodies have you testified before?
Hatfield Township for one, and several others within Montgomery and Bucks County.
And were you qualified as an expert before those boards?
Yes,
In what capacity?
as a civil engineer.
And can you please identify tab 1 of your exhibit book, of the exhibit booklet?
That is my CV.
I would offer Chris as an expert in civil engineering.
No objection.
Okay. Any objections by the board? Okay, we'll accept him as an expert.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Chris, were you engaged by the applicant with regard to this project?
Yes,
And what was the scope of that engagement?
to review the code and prepare conditional use plans for a cluster development.
And did you also visit the site?
Yes,
And did you prepare all of the plans that are within the first exhibit booklet and then the amended application Part 1A exhibit booklet?
yes.
Okay. So let's start with what we have up on the screen, which is great. That's the amended overall site aerial existing conditions plan, Exhibit A2A. So using that exhibit, will you please give us an overview of the existing site conditions? And you can break it down if it's easier for you in terms of what we call the Beach Palo property, the North Penn School District property, the Desidero, and the BOM. And then if you could then do a combined, consolidated explanation, that would be great.
Yeah. So to the northeast of the property is the Beach Palo tract, and that is approximately 42 acres, mainly farmed with a couple areas of trees, and then there is a stream to the northwest corner that runs through the property, continues down further into North Penn School District property also. In the middle of the site, towards the southern side, I'll call it, is mainly comprised of the North Penn School District lots. That's about 53.6 acres. That is also mainly farmed, has some wooded areas, also has 2 water courses that run through it, one on the western portion and one on the southeast portion. The Desidero lot is to the south, abutting Welsh Road, and then there is the Baum Tract properties, several movie lots that were discussed that are just to the north of that area, around the corner of the farm field. And then there's another one to the east of the, northeast of the Desidero property.
And the one to the east, north of the Desidero property, that abuts the North Penn School District property as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Overall, the combined tract is 96.9 acres. The general overall width and depth, it's about 2,400 feet deep, going from Welsh Road to Buckthorn, and it's approximately 1,700 feet wide, going generally in an east-west direction. The property's irregularly shaped, so those are just kind of overall dimensions.
And what is the access to the property?
The access to the property is from Buckthorn and Grapevine. There's roads that stub at the property line, and then we have access to Welsh Road through the Desidero property, and there's also an easement that runs out to Orvilla Road.
Okay, and please describe the neighboring abutting uses and the district, zoning district.
So to the northwest of our property is the Del Webb community, which is a multifamily elderly zoning designation. To the west of that and northwest of our property is Ralph's Corner, which is a shopping center. Everything else between Welsh Road and Orvilla is RA1 zoning, including our property and the townhouse development that is to the northwest of our property. So everything is generally single-family residential. There are the townhouses, there's the church at the corner of Welsh and Orvilla, but everything else in the RA1 district is single-family.
And so the red border around this property is the entirety of the proposed development?
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the amended rendered overall conditional use plan. There we go. Now, you testify you prepared all those exhibits that are contained within the exhibit booklets, A through A5A, correct?
Yes.
And those plans, again, were submitted to the township with a letter amendment to the conditional use application, correct?
Yes.
And is a single-family dwelling cluster development permitted by conditional use in the RA1 district?
Yes.
Okay. So before we get into the specific objective criteria and the development standards for these cluster developments, using the rendered overall plan, which is Exhibit A3A, which is also on the screen, can you please give us an overview of the proposed development?
Yes, the overall development now consists of 162 proposed single-family dwelling units, taking access to Welsh Road at the southern portion of the site. We also have an emergency access proposed to the northern portion of the site.
And that's emergency-only access, correct?
That is correct. That's
And
what we are proposing.
It will be some type of bollard, or there'll be chains, correct, blocking that access?
Yes, either a breakaway bollard or a gate with chain and lock that the fire department can easily access.
Okay.
The divide line generally for the Beach Palo and North Penn School District properties is in the middle of the site. I'm pointing to here. On the Beach Palo, there is 75 units proposed. On the North Penn School District property, combined with the Baum properties, there are 87 single-family lots proposed. We also have sidewalks throughout the site, trails, open space. We're showing some locations for stormwater management spread throughout the site. We also have open space areas. There are 2 cul-de-sacs that we are proposing. One, which we'll talk about further with differences between the Beach Palo plan. There's still one there, and then there's one on the North Penn School District site.
Okay, and what are the lot sizes for these lots?
The minimum lot size is 12,000 square feet, and then where we have corner lot sizes, it is approximately 14,000 square feet.
Okay. And I'm sorry if I missed this. So on the internal roadways, there's sidewalk proposed on both sides?
Correct.
And that's throughout the entire development?
Yes.
Okay. And there's, the blue areas are stormwater management basins?
Yes.
And have those basins been fully designed yet?
No, they haven't. They'll be fully designed during the land development process.
And with regard to the ingress and egress that you discussed, are adequate utility access roads provided for that?
Yes.
And is adequate emergency access provided in terms of width and access of roadways?
Yes, we're showing 2 emergency accesses, one to the north of the site and then one using the easement going out to Orvilla Road.
And included in the exhibit booklet at tab A6A is a fire truck circulation plan.
Correct.
And can you describe that plan for us?
So this plan shows key intersections and maneuvers for the fire truck. Starting at the top left, it shows the entrance off Welsh Road and the first intersection. In the top right, it is showing the emergency access coming in from turns both from Leon Drive and then internal to our site. The bottom left shows the cul-de-sac that is located on the Beach Palo property. And then the bottom right shows a typical four-way intersection and truck turns for fire truck maneuvers there, all showing that the cartway width provides adequate room for truck maneuvers within the site.
Okay. And next, I want to direct your attention to tab A10A, which is the amended common open space plan. I believe it's the next, that's it. It's also being displayed on the screen. Can you please describe that plan and the common open space being provided?
Yes, this plan shows in the hatched colors the areas of open space. There is differentiators for non-developable open space, which includes the stream and buffer areas on the western portion of the site. Those are shown in green. There's also some of that on the southern portion of the site. It also shows the stormwater basins in blue, which are also non-developable open space areas. And then the yellow hatch throughout shows the open space areas.
Okay. And can you please describe the buffering and screening being provided?
We are showing an open space area to the north, which is 50 foot in width and has a walking trail to provide buffering from the existing development. We also have open space along the western portion, which also abuts the township-owned open space, which is shown in dark green, providing a buffer from the townhouse development. We also have open space to the south, adjacent to some of the existing lots along Welsh Road. And then there's also open space abutting the corner where we would be close to the church.
Okay, and you did mention trails. So can you explain where the trails are connecting into abutting properties?
Yes, so as part of the open space requirements, the open space has width and size requirements. The width can be reduced if you're providing trails. We're providing trails in the open space to the furthest north, which connects into the internal sidewalks. In the central open space in the Beach Palo property, we are also providing a loop trail system, which also connects to sidewalks throughout the site. And then we have other larger open space areas that meet the 75-foot width requirement and 10,000 square foot minimum. However, we do show a trail connection to the township-owned open space around the middle of the site. And there's also a trail connection shown to the south, which would lead to the church property.
Okay. Now, since there are a number of residents present and the board members were here for the Beach Palo application, I thought it may be helpful if you could just advise us of what the changes are to the Beach Palo property in this development from the original development.
The original development had access points off Grapevine and Buckthorn. To the north, we're no longer proposing vehicular access there. It would just be emergency access. There was also a long cul-de-sac which went in the easterly direction because there was no connection to the school district property. So now we're showing 3 less lots on that property, a much smaller cul-de-sac to the east, and 2 connection points to the school district property.
And there's a trail provided as well. Is that correct?
Yes, there is a trail provided but generally along the divide line between the Beach Palo and the North Penn School District property, approximately in the middle of the site.
Okay. All right, so now I want to direct your attention to the specific objective criteria for cluster developments. Do you prefer to use the open space plan that's being projected, or do you want to go back to the overall rendered conditional use?
Let's go back to the overall, if we can.
Okay. So again, that's a 3A. That would, yep,
that one.
perfect, thank you. Okay, so the specific objective criteria for this single-family cluster development is found in section 282-30-30 E and F, correct?
Yes.
And in your professional opinion, does the proposed single-family dwelling cluster development comply with all of the requirements contained within sections 282-30E and F of the zoning ordinance?
Yes, I believe it does.
And is compliance with all of those specific objective criteria shown on the conditional use plans?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so now let's walk through each requirement. Starting with section 282-30E1, does the proposed conditional use development comply with the minimum tract area requirement of 10 acres gross area?
Yes, it does. We have 96.9 acres approximately for all the combined lots.
Okay. Section 282-30E2, does the proposed conditional use development comply with the public water and public sewer service requirements?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And was a will-serve letter from North Penn Water Authority provided at Exhibit A7, which would be the first exhibit booklet?
Yes.
And is public sewer available from Orvilla Road?
Yes, it is.
And was a letter provided from the Hatfield Township Municipal Authority, and is that letter Exhibit A8 of the exhibit booklet?
Yes.
And what does that letter state?
So this letter states that there is capacity at the treatment plant, but there will be upgrades needed for conveyance within Orvilla Road to be able to get the flow to the treatment plant.
And is that confirmation of capacity for sewer service also found in Exhibit A9, which is the Hatfield Township Chapter 94 Waste Load Management Report dated March 19, 2025?
Yes.
And can you explain what that report is?
So every year, the sewer authority is required to report to DEP the sewer flows and any potential overloading or projected overloading within the next 5 years.
And in Section 3.1 of the report, what does that report conclude regarding treatment capacity?
That there is adequate treatment capacity available.
And is that also shown in the Table 6 adjusted flow projections?
Yes.
And what does the report conclude regarding hydraulic capacity?
That there's no projected overload.
And is that confirmed in Table 3 organic loading?
Yes.
So is the letter from the Hatfield Township Municipal Authority consistent with the Chapter 94 report?
Yes, it is.
Now, the letter from the, the letter from the municipal authority states that there would be upgrade and piping necessary for conveyance of the sewer, correct?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, is applicant willing to upgrade the piping and/or conveyance facilities at its sole cost and expense?
Yes.
And in your opinion, is upgrading the piping and other conveyance facilities a benefit to the public health, safety, and welfare?
Yes, it is.
And are you able to confirm on behalf of applicant that applicant agrees as a condition of conditional use approval, if granted, that applicant shall provide sewer line conveyance facility upgrades if required by the municipal authority and DEP to the satisfaction of the municipal authority and DEP at its sole cost and expense?
Yes.
And for the record, there's representatives of the applicant present?
They are. Okay, turning your attention to Section 282-30E3. Does the proposed conditional use development comply with the minimum 15% common open space area requirement?
Yes, we are proposing 18.9% open space.
And how many acres is that?
It's about 16.8 acres.
Okay. Turning to 282-30F1, that states that single-family detached dwellings, open space and rec areas and structures are permitted, and that is what is being proposed in this conditional use development, correct?
Yes.
Section 282-30F2, does the proposed conditional use development comply with the maximum permitted 2.2 dwelling units per developable acre?
Yes, we're proposing 1.8 dwelling units per acre.
And how did you determine this? How did you determine the developable lot area?
So there are certain items that must be excluded when looking at the developable area. They include waters, wetlands, floodplain areas, floodplain soils, easements. So altogether, by taking that out, our developable site area is about 88.9 acres.
And that is how you arrived at the 1.8 dwelling units per acre, correct?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to section 282-30F3. Does the proposed conditional use development comply with the minimum lot area requirement of 12,000 square feet for each dwelling?
Yes.
And then the corner lots have a different requirement, correct?
Correct, because they have 2 front yards. Those lots are larger, and they are about 14,000 square feet.
Okay. Section 282-30F4, does the proposed conditional use development comply with the minimum lot width requirement of 80 feet at the building line for every dwelling?
Yes.
And that's shown on the conditional use plans, correct? All of these requirements are shown on the conditional use plans, correct?
Correct, it is. And in the top right corner of the conditional use plan, there is lot details for both the typical lot, I'll say, and then 4 corner lots showing compliance.
Okay. Section 282-30F5, does the proposed conditional use development comply with the front, side, and rear yard regulations?
Yes.
And can you go through and explain those for us?
So the front yard requirement is 35 feet, which is provided. There's also side yards, which shall not be less than 10 feet and having an aggregate width of 30 total. We are complying with that. And then rear yards is 40 feet in depth, and we are providing a minimum of 40 feet.
So the lot detail inserts, they are, show what every single lot in the development would look like, correct?
Minimum areas of the lots, correct.
Okay. And then the corner lots?
The corner lots are in compliance with providing 2 front yards and having a larger area because of that.
Okay. Section 282-30F6A, does the proposed conditional use development comply with the maximum building coverage and impervious coverage requirements?
Yes, it does.
And can you explain how that complies?
The maximum building coverage is 25%, and we are proposing 25%. The maximum impervious is 35%. As shown on the plan, we have slightly under that, but we would stay under the maximum, even with any additional impervious provided per lot.
Okay. Section 282-30F7 and 8, that talks about historic or cultural resources, which then allows an increase in density, but we do not have any of those resources on this property, correct?
Correct, we don't, and we're not asking for any additional density.
Okay. Moving on to the common open space requirements found in section 282-30G. And probably should put the common open space exhibit back up if you wouldn't mind, please. I think it's the last plan. Thank you. So subsection 1A, is there a note on the plan that states that common open space shall not be separately sold and shall not be further developed or subdivided?
Yes.
Section 1B, is the common open space designed as a continuous system of open space, and is it interconnected with open space areas on abutting parcels whenever possible?
Yes, as I had previously described, we have open space that is on the western portion and abuts the township open space with proposed trails leading to that open space. On the southeast portion, we are also providing a trail connection to the church. And then we have trails throughout open space areas in the development, which are connected with sidewalk areas on both sides of the street, so that way all open space areas are connected and accessible.
And that, in turn, is a continuous system of open space, correct?
Yes.
Subsection 1C, does the common open space area have safe and convenient access to the residentially developed area of the tract by adjoining frontage on streets or easements capable of accommodating pedestrian, bicycle, and maintenance vehicle traffic?
Yes, it does. All the open space abuts one of the streets, and we had provide trails and sidewalks for access to all open space areas.
Which can accommodate pedestrians, bicycles, such, correct?
Correct.
Subsection 1D, is the common open space comprised of a minimum of 10,000 square feet in area and not less than 75 feet in width, except for trails and trail linkages?
Yes, we have several areas of open space labeled A through F. They all meet the 10,000 square feet requirement. However, there are some that are less than 75 feet. At the north, we have one that is less than 75 feet where we're providing a trail. In the interior portion of the Beach Palo property, there's another section less than 75 feet where a loop trail is provided. Along the dividing line of Beach Palo and North Penn School District properties, there is a trail running the entire length through the open space there.
Okay. Subsection 1E, is the common open space physically delineated from adjoining private lands using berms, fencing, or other means?
Berms and fencing is something that will be shown if this project moves forward to land development. However, there is space within the perimeter of the tract to provide those items. As part of the subdivision land development, there's a 10-foot landscape buffer required around the entire tract, and that's where things like berms and fences would be designed and installed.
So they'll be designed and installed if this project moves forward to land development?
Correct.
Okay. Subsection 1F, does the common open space area predominantly consist of natural environmental features or planted and maintained vegetation?
Yes, it will. On the western portion of the site that was shown on the aerial existing conditions exhibit is majority of the wooded area. There's also a stream that runs through there. All of that's contained within open space. And then in the southern portion where there's another water course, we have that also surrounded with open space.
And another requirement of that subsection states that trails should be provided, and you've already discussed the trails, correct?
Correct.
Okay, subsection 1G, that states that the common open space shall be configured so as to be acceptable to the Board of Commissioners.
Correct.
That's acknowledged. Subsection 2. This discusses ownership and maintenance of common open space, and it basically states that the open space has to be offered for dedication to the township, and if the township doesn't want it, then an HOA should be provided. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it's typical for a development of this nature to have an HOA, so the open space could be offered for dedication. If the township did not want to take it, the HOA would own and maintain it.
Okay, and I think you mentioned this before, but with regard to that common open space, is that required to be located behind the Leon Drive properties?
No, it's not required to be located there. We're providing that to have additional buffer from the proposed lots to the existing lots off Leon Drive.
Okay. Okay, I want to turn your attention to, and I think it should be the next slide. It's Exhibit A11. Thank you. Of the exhibit booklet, those are concept drawings of the proposed single-family detached dwellings, correct?
Yes.
Do you want to briefly describe those, please?
They're going to be single-family dwellings with 3 to 4 bedrooms around, I think it's 2,900 to 3,000 square feet typically. It has a 2-car garage.
Okay. And will they have basements? Or
Yeah.
do you know? Yes?
Yes, I believe that we will be proposing basements for these houses.
Okay. And I think we talked about parking, but how many parking spaces are required for each lot, and how many are being provided?
There's 2 required, not including the garage, and 2 spaces are provided in the driveway for each lot.
Okay. And Chris, in your professional opinion as an expert in civil engineering, will the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the single-family detached dwelling cluster development in any manner be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or welfare in a manner not usually generated by this type of development?
No, even though it's a cluster development, they're single-family houses, which is consistent with the uses surrounding the area, which are also in the same zoning district. So I don't see that there would be any impact to health, safety, or welfare due to this development.
And in your professional opinion as an expert in civil engineering, will the single-family detached dwelling cluster development be injurious to the use and enjoyment of properties in the immediate vicinity or impede the normal and orderly development or improvement of surrounding properties?
No, basically all the properties around here at this point are developed, so there's no impact to further development. And again, this is single-family residential developments consistent with the area.
That's all I have with this witness.
Mr. Panzer?
Is the mic picking me up?
No.
Good evening, Mr. Bazunas.
Good
How are you?
evening.
It's good to see you again. So this redesigned plan, one primary access point to serve the proposed 161 homes, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And that's onto Welsh Road.
Correct.
So PennDOT will weigh in on any improvements that would be required for that access point, yes?
Yes.
Tom, can you get closer to the mic, please?
This close?
Yes, thank you.
And as to how many trips the 161 units would result in, that'd be deferred to a different witness. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we'll have a traffic engineer testify to that.
The utility letters you talked about were from the prior plans, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So they both predate the March 31, 2026 amendment, yes?
They do.
Okay. And was there any input from DEP on the proposal?
From which DEP department?
I don't know, the DEP is mentioned in the ordinance as regulatory oversight.
We have not had any pre-application meetings with DEP. We would have to go through that process as part of the land development approvals.
You talked about the open space and characterize it as a continuous system. The sidewalks are what width?
I believe we're proposing 5 feet in width.
And do you know the standard width for a multipurpose trail?
That we're proposing?
No, general standard?
General
Design.
standard is 8 to 10 feet.
The cul-de-sacs that are noted or referenced on the plan, the one to the northeast, thank you, yes. What's the length of that cul-de-sac?
I believe that cul-de-sac is around 200 feet long.
And can you tell us the dimensions, the diameter?
Yeah, I do the big one. The radius for the cul-de-sac bulb is 60 feet.
60. And then the second cul-de-sac, which is in the center of the plan, what's the length of that one?
That one is just under 500 feet.
And the radius on that bulb?
Also 60.
Did you indicate that each dwelling unit has room for two, or will be designed to have room for two off-street parking spaces and garage space?
Correct.
And did you tell us the cartway widths?
The cartway width that is being proposed is 28 feet.
With standard curbs?
Yes.
Now, you indicated that the trail connects with township open space, and that's essentially center plan to the left, which would be northwest?
Correct.
Okay. Now, are you aware that the lots that were originally created in the school district parcels were movie lots from a 1922 plan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So it was a number of movie lots and paper streets, right?
Correct.
And you're familiar with both those terms?
Yes.
So the movie lots are generally smaller lots than would normally be required today?
Correct. Most of them in this area, I think the minimum size was 20 feet wide by 120 feet long.
And you've actually reviewed that 1922 recorded plan, yes?
Yes.
Did you prepare an exhibit that had an overlay of the movie lots with the proposed plan that we're reviewing today?
Objection. We provided all the exhibits to the township that he's prepared, so.
It's a question as to his research in developing his plans. Overruled.
We've looked at some of the parcel overlays as compared to the development. I don't know that I've prepared any official exhibits as part of it, but we have looked at it.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that the 1922 plan essentially creates a grid with the paper streets running plan right to plan left and plan north to plan south?
Correct.
And there are at least one, maybe more, paper streets that terminate at the township open space. Did you review that?
I'm going to object at this point. I think case law is absolutely 100% clear that paper streets are not to be considered in zoning matters. They're rendered immaterial and irrelevant, and any actions that are brought with regard to paper streets, because they are private access rights, are actions that are to be brought in the Court of Common Pleas via quiet title action.
So in response, and there is a quiet title action to which the township is a party because while the public paper street rights may have been eliminated by the passage of 21 years, there are still private rights, and they impact this conditional use application in two ways. One, the applicant is proposing improvements and asking the township to approve at least conceptually those improvements where the paper streets in areas, especially on the edges of the properties, would essentially be easements owned by property owners, but also serving beneficiaries of the paper street. So it's unclear at this point to me whether that interest has been addressed and whether those interests negatively impact the layout and design of this conceptual plan. Number two, the township is in fact one of those beneficiaries, and we can develop that further through township witnesses if necessary. But I was really getting to an ultimate question, Mr. Bazunas. That's my response to the objection.
Thanks, Tom, for explaining that. So again, I'm going to reiterate my objection. Case law is absolutely clear that in zoning matters, these private access rights are immaterial and irrelevant, and they are to be litigated in the Court of Common Pleas with a quiet title action, which Tom is absolutely correct. There is a quiet title action pending. Mr. Utane is here. He is the one who instituted that action, and he can discuss it further if necessary.
Well, I think the fact that there's an action pending solidifies the fact that there's easement rights over portions of the property that you're looking to develop. And your site calculations specifically deduct easements from your site calculations. So I think the issue of easement rights is relevant to your site design. I mean, your witness can certainly answer the questions that he's asking them. I think it's relevant to the conversation. Whether or not it pans out in the end, you have an action pending to quiet the easement rights across those streets. So it's clearly pertinent to your feasibility of developing this property.
And I would argue that it is not. I would argue that your ordinance does not define easement, but your SALDO, Subdivision Land Development Ordinance, defines easement. And easement is defined as a public right. It's a public easement for public purposes or quasi-public purposes only. They do not involve private access rights. So I believe that it is not relevant to these proceedings, and the quiet title actions should proceed separately and apart from this zoning from this conditional use application, excuse me.
I'm not making any determination whether or not it kills your plan, but I think Mr. Panzer has a right to explore what research I always get it wrong, Chris. Can I just call you Chris?
Sure.
Okay. I think he has a right to explore what he's looked at as far as the research and what has gone into the development of this plan. So I'm going to overrule the objection and let the questioning continue.
Okay.
So, Mr. Bazunas, did you take into account the paper streets and potential residual rights, easement rights, in designing this plan?
We did not take into account respecting the boundaries of the paper streets shown on the 1922 plan. As part of what we did look at is if those were considered easement areas and had to be taken out of the developable area, if we would still meet our density calculation and be under the 2.2 dwelling units per acre, and we would still meet that requirement.
So, moving to a separate topic, the basins. You indicated the basins are in non-developable space?
It's considered non-developable area within the open space.
So are they included in the 18%?
No, they are not included in the 18%. So in addition to the 16.8 acres of open space areas, then there is also an additional 14.7 acres of non-developable area, which includes the stormwater basins. It includes the alluvial soils, wetlands, waters, and all of those items. So the total common open space is 31.5 acres.
And would it be fair to say that no determination has been made on who ultimately owns the open space? Or do you know?
It would be offered for dedication to the township. In the case that they don't accept dedication, an HOA would own and maintain the open space.
when we were here last for the prior plan, there was considerable discussion about the open space with the path plan north, buffering the neighborhood. Do you recall that?
Yes.
It's been established on this plan at 50 feet wide,
Yes.
and in that 50 feet, there's a walking trail of how many feet wide proposed?
8 to 10 feet wide.
And are you also proposing screen plantings?
The plan currently shows some screen plantings at the rear of the proposed houses. However, as I said, during land development process, there's a 10-foot landscape buffer required along the entire tract of the perimeter, and we would be proposing berms, fencing, and screening within that 10 feet as if the plan moves forward.
And so as we sit here tonight, you're suggesting that you'll fit all of that within the 50 feet shown Plan North?
Correct.
Those are all the questions I have for Mr. Pazunas.
I have a couple before we turn it over to the parties. Chris, did you do any engineering yet, or just this two-dimensional stuff?
It's mainly been two-dimensional.
Okay. So in looking at your site calculations, you had deducted wetlands. How did you determine where the wetlands are?
We had a wetland consultant go out and flag the wetlands and then send us back the information on where they were.
Okay, so you had a soil scientist go out and flag the wetlands and plot them, and then you extrapolated that material and put it on your plan?
Correct.
Okay. And you have, as far as the flood hazard area, you have a note on your plan that says by graphic plotting only, that was determined. What does that mean?
That flood hazard area is specific to FEMA flooding, and that's taken from FEMA maps, and it's graphically plotted. We're out of any flood hazard areas.
What does graphically plotted mean?
It means that you're just looking at the FEMA map directly and tracing it, so it's graphically plotted. In cases where you actually have a floodplain, there may or may not be an elevation associated with it, and sometimes the FEMA map elevations differ from a more accurate topography survey of the site or even GIS contours.
Is the scale the same? Is it a
Yes.
scale that you can work with?
Yes.
Is it any way digital or just a plan?
We can both get digital information, GIS information, and we can also trace it from a PDF.
Did you get GIS information in this case?
No, because we're in Zone X, so we're not in a flood hazard zone. So it's kind of, I'll call it typical language that it said.
You do identify some areas on your plan. You've identified floodplain area, floodplain soils.
So there's a associated stream buffer and floodplain soils. That's different than FEMA floodplain mapping for 100-year storm elevations.
Okay, how did you do that?
How do we do?
How did you determine those calculations?
So the floodplain and alluvial soils are determined from web soil survey, which is what the township code refers to. So we overlay that information, and then the stream was also surveyed so we could have a top of bank and then do the 50-foot offset for the buffer.
And is that how you determined the waters calculation?
Yes.
So all of that was engineered, that part of your plan was?
Survey, field surveyed information, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Board members, do you have questions before I go to the audience? Yeah, you know what? Why don't we see if the parties have any questions? Can we do that? Okay. Anybody who's a party, you have a right to ask questions of this witness pertinent to the testimony that he's given. If you're interested in doing that, please start a line up at the microphone. You'd have to state your name, Spell it for the stenographer too, please.
Hi, I'm John Sperling. I live at 1701 West Main Street, Welsh Road, or Route 63. Take your pick.
John, spell your last name.
Sperling.
Thank you.
I have, my major concern is about the paper streets. We are adjacent to the paper streets. I'm actually right here. There's lots that are still individually owned back in there, yet you're closing what is actually Harding Avenue.
I'm going to object at this point. He's testifying, he's not asking a question.
So, John, condense your question. Do you have a concern about access, right?
Yes.
Okay, so try to formulate what your question is about access. Is your access being changed or altered or blocked in any way? And you want to ask him what he's going to do about that?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
maybe do you understand where Mr. Sperling's property is, Chris?
I do. Aaron, if you could actually go back a couple pages.
Okay, give him a second, John, hang
Yep.
on.
Go to the right one. That's probably the best view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
All-
there.
Okay, John, now you pause a minute and we'll let Chris try to give you an answer.
Okay.
All right, hang on.
So Harding is the area you can see here. I'll call it Plan South. There's a gap between these lots and the green hatched area, so that is the actual paper street that I believe he's referring to.
Yes.
That paper street still does come out to our entrance. If access and a connection needed to be provided to that, we could do that. There are other houses to the west that do use that for access, and we are tying their driveways into our proposed access.
Okay, so you are gonna have access? You're showing there on the map that there is no access to it.
Yes, Harding Street's still there, and these properties also have access to Welsh Road.
So, John, you have access onto Welsh currently. You're asking if that back access will also be provided, right?
Well, at least for the folks, those 3 lots right there, if you don't open that up for them, that forces them to come up, anybody access to come up 3rd Street and come down Harding Avenue.
Okay, so the question is, if it was requested that you make that connection to your interior road, are you able to do that? That's right past your boulevard, it seems. Is that a safe location for you to extend and connect to your interior access?
Yeah, if we had to provide a driveway going east on Harding, we could do that. Again, we're doing that to the west of Harding for the existing dwellings that are there.
At least past your property so that people can get into that.
Okay, all right, John, they're saying that they could do it. If they get an approval, we could make it as a condition. I'll make note of that, okay?
Now, just one other question. How are you going to handle the traffic coming in and out of the
We'll have a
development? Is there
traffic
gonna be a
engineer.
traffic light there?
We're going to have a traffic engineer who will testify to the proposed access point and improvements.
So,
Hang on to that question. They have a traffic engineer that's going to testify.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Deborah Kimball, DeborahKimball. My question is, for the emergency access, is there ever a time that, even after this is all built, and say it's an HOA, can they come to the township and ask to open up that emergency access if they find that this is bottlenecking them getting in and out the one exit and entrance?
So your question-
Are we going to have a guarantee that they can never use that it will always be an emergency access and never opened up for traffic?
Okay, hang on, Deborah. Let's see what the witness has to say about that.
We would coordinate any restrictions with the township as the process moves forward. We're proposing it to be an emergency access now. If the township places conditions on there, we would deal with that at that time.
But after you've built and sold all the houses, could the HOA come forward and say, we would like this opened up? So you're no longer part of it.
It would depend on what conditions or restrictions would be put on the project as part of the approval process.
Can those restrictions be put on it?
Can the board attach conditions to an approval if it's given? Absolutely.
Okay.
Tom Deller. I have
Can you-
questions.
Sir, your name, please?
Tom
Tom?
Deller,
Spell your last name, Tom.
Deller,
And your address?
1526 Leon Drive.
Okay, thank you.
During the building process, would the traffic, all the construction vehicles, et cetera, come through Route 63 access? Or would they still have access during the building to come out Grapevine? When does that get closed off as an emergency access only?
Do you have an answer?
Grapevine exists today. Again, we could use that as a construction entrance as part of the project. If that's a condition that would be put on the plan as part of approvals, we could, or the township could consider that.
Okay. The, I guess the sewer and water access would access, where would that access come from? Off of 63, off of Orvilla?
We need to connect into Orvilla, whether that would be via a main extension on Welsh Road or through the existing easement in the northeast corner of the property that gets out to Orvilla would be one of those routes.
Okay. Okay. I was wondering, where is the Kindig property in this drawing?
You have, turn to another plan, Aaron. We'll show you.
The which property? I'm sorry.
We call it the Kindig property.
Okay.
How is their access affected by all this? Do they still have a road out?
There's an existing easement and that remains in place.
Okay.
Anything else, Tom?
Good for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else who's a party? Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break, okay? Okay. Thank you.
All right, we're going to come back together, and I'm going to pass the microphone over to Kristen Pianzio, our solicitor. Thank you.
All right. We're back on the record, and does the board have any questions?
I have a few. Want to ask some questions about parking inside the property as designed. Does it currently contemplate parking on the street?
We do not.
So neither side of the street?
The cartway is 28 feet wide, so we
Right.
could provide parking on one side. It could be signed for no parking on one side, if that made sense.
But the design that you're expecting is that there would be, that we're looking at here has parking on neither side?
We're not proposing that there's parking there. We're also not restricting it at this time.
Okay, you're asking us to decide on this conditional use, not knowing whether you're going to have parking on one side, both sides, or neither side?
We meet the parking requirement based on the driveways and the 2 spaces per unit. If parking on the street or additional overflow parking needs to be looked at, we could look at that in conjunction with, any conditions.
So is there any contingency as a part of this current plan that would take into consideration someone having a Super Bowl party or a picnic on a Saturday where a dozen cars show up because there's only room enough for a couple in their parking on their driveway?
Typically, in that situation, people are going to park on the street.
Okay.
If there's a fire emergency, how do they access the development?
You have to use your mic, Tom.
Great. If there's a fire emergency, how do they access the development if cars parked on both sides?
So with
28-foot
28-foot wide cartways, if we're
Cars by 8
going
feet.
to if we're going to restrict it, we would restrict parking to one side of the street and sign it as such.
All right, I want to ask a couple of questions about the sewer service. The HTMA letter in particular talked about that there would have to be a need for upgrades. You're familiar with that? That's Exhibit 8?
Yes.
Okay. So as I understand it, you testified that the developer would take on the full financial burden of the upgrade. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a cost or an increased cost for the community for having the additional, not just the upgrade, but then having the additional sewage going through? Is that being factored, the additional cost being factored into your overall commitment to pay? Not just for in other words, are you committed to not just developing and the upgrade, but also the cost associated to the rest of the community for what will be an increased cost?
He's talking about rates.
Yep.
Sewer rates.
But which community? The community
As
we're
a whole.
developing?
As a whole.
So
Hatfield is charged a flat fee. So the question by the commissioner is, you stated that you are willing to pay for the upgrades, but his question is there any consideration for an increase to the township residents as a result of your community and those upgrades?
So the new community could result in an increase of cost to the broader community. Does your commitment, financial commitment, factor in that cost as a part of what you're willing to pay?
I'm unclear of what additional cost you're speculating may come up as a result of this community, because the sewer treatment plant has capacity for the number of units, and I know the letter that we have says 161, now we have 162. That's de minimis in the sewer flows coming from this development. The upgrade costs that the developer would take on is upgrading the conveyance system, which is not adequate for this development. The sewer fees that the treatment plant charges and the authority charges, I would presume takes into account any long-term upgrades that are needed, but since they're not projecting any overloads, even with this community being connected to the treatment plant, I don't know why there would be additional costs associated specifically with this development.
So is that based on your experience, or is it just you're making an assumption? So let me rephrase that. You're willing to take on the cost for the upgrade. I understand. Is the rate increase for the larger community been factored into your financial commitment to having as a part of the upgrade?
I would just try to clarify. It sounds like you're speculating to me. So you're asking him a speculative question that we don't know would actually occur, and we have no proof that would occur. And Mr. Pazino testified he doesn't believe that it would. He doesn't understand why it would, based on the fact that they do have sufficient capacity. So I think it's hard for him to speculate to that.
I appreciate it. Let me just explain to you why I'm asking the question, right? And then I'll maybe rephrase the question, and maybe it's something that you're able to answer, and maybe it's not. Okay. Logic, from my perspective, would dictate that if you build X number of 100 extra homes, right, there's going to be an increased cost in sewer rates associated with that. And I'm not talking about the upgrade. I'm talking about the cost associated with providing the service. There's the rates currently are higher now than they were when we only had 2,000 homes and we have 6,500 homes in Hatfield. The rates will go up because there are more homes. My question is, have you guys factored into your financial commitment as part of that rate increase for the greater community?
No, that has not been factored in. What is typically factored in these type of developments is capital contributions for upgrades that may be necessary to the system. We know there's a conveyance upgrade needed for this. In certain developments, there are treatment upgrades that are needed, but long-term rate changes and what that may mean based on our development and future developments are not typically looked at.
Understood. So let me ask a couple of questions about open space. And I believe we had a similar exchange with the prior application. I'm looking at Exhibit 3 from the original submission from January 28th of 2026, just by way of example. Am I correct in saying that the applicant is taking credit for the kind of the 50-foot and smaller pathways between homes and along sidewalks in order to demonstrate that there has been a contiguous or continuous open space connection?
We are not taking credit for areas that are directly adjacent to sidewalks for long parallel periods. Aaron, can you flip back to the overall plan? So the open space to the north is less than 75 feet, and we provide a trail. It abuts sidewalk here, but any of the internal sidewalks that are throughout, there's no open space directly connected with those small strips of green space around them.
So as we're looking at this map, you are taking credit for what is kind of the dividing line between the two properties as a basis for saying that there's continuous open space?
We're taking credit for that as open space with the trail that, yes, also does aid in interconnecting the open space areas to make them continuous.
And you need that in order to meet the code, which is a requirement that includes continuous open space connectivity, correct?
Because we're providing more open space than what's required, I don't actually believe that that one is specifically required, as the area is relatively small in comparison.
Okay. I'm looking at, and I'm not sure how to describe it other than kind of the top right corner of the, that open space area. Is that connected to any other open space?
It is only connected via sidewalk and trail system.
Okay, so it is only connected by what is otherwise not considered open space. Sidewalks, you said, were not open space.
I said we weren't taking credit for area next to sidewalks.
Okay. Kristen, that's all I have.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Okay. Julie?
Just a couple.
We need the mic back.
Oh.
Would you get the microphone? Thank you.
Thank you. To clarify, Mr. Panzer had asked you about the water and sewer letters that were provided, and he noted that the dates were predated the amended conditional use application. Correct? You remember that question?
Yes.
Okay. So the amended conditional use application proposes how many new lots?
162.
So that is one more lot than was previously?
Correct.
So when the authority and the both authorities sent their letters, that was for 161 lots, correct?
Yes.
And you mentioned that it was de minimis, the one additional lot, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk about the parking. So parking can be provided on one side of the street, and the applicant can commit to permitting parking on one side of the streets throughout the development. Is that correct?
Yes.
And if parking is provided on one side, signage can be added to prohibit it on the other side of the street. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And with parking on one side of the street, would a fire truck still be able to maneuver through those streets if there's parking on one side of the street?
Yes, they would, and we would make sure to also have no parking signs placed in proximity to intersections where the fire truck maneuvers would need to be.
Okay. The open space area. the requirement in the ordinance is to provide a continuous system of open space, correct?
Yes.
And I believe you said your testimony was that there is continuous system because sidewalks are provided connecting open space areas along with trails. Is that correct?
Yes.
And have you worked on, you personally, have you and Bowler, has your company worked on other single-family cluster developments within this township that had a similar configuration of open space?
Yes. Yes, we have.
And what are those developments?
The Bexley development and Sterling Walk behind Ziegler's.
And they were similarly connected by sidewalk?
Correct. There was separate areas of open space that were not all contiguous and continuous. They were separated by roads connected with sidewalks.
And those two projects were approved by the Township Board of Commissioners, correct?
Yes.
And those projects are built?
Yes.
Okay. And the discussion with cartway widths, there's no requirement in the zoning ordinance, and it's not a conditional use requirement in terms of the width of the cartways. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's all I have on redirect.
Okay,
I want to.
go ahead, Tom.
Mr. Pazunas, Sterling Walk was developed when?
I think that was 2022, I believe, but it just got completed recently.
And what was the other one you mentioned?
Bexley?
And when was that approval given?
I do not know the exact date of that approval.
Neither of those were approved by this particular Board of Supervisors in Hatfield Township. Is that accurate?
Correct.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Sure. Thank
Sorry.
you. It's 9 o'clock. Do you want to start another witness? What do you want to do?
How long was the township planning to go this evening?
Well, they were hoping for 9. I said 9:30. Who do you have next?
Well, the traffic engineer, and that might take a while, so I think, yes,
No
I
offense,
understand.
Mr.
It's fine.
Why would you be offended by that, right?
We're fine to,
We know it's coming. That's terrible.
we're fine to call it a night if
Okay.
that's
So,
the consensus.
I think that's a good idea, because that's going to be hours of, okay. So, we have you, we're going to do, May 27th is the next date I have on the calendar for your next hearing, fourth Wednesday,
Yes,
7 o'clock. Does that work
Yes.
for your team?
it does.
Commissioners, we're still good with that? Okay. So a motion would be in order to continue this hearing until May 27, 2026, 7 p.m. prevailing time. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There will be no further notifications. Aaron may send out a reminder, he's good with that email, but there's no letters, no more postings. We're going to, when we continue it on the record, that's how we do it from here on out, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you, everybody, appreciate your courtesies.
Thank you.